Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. It's the half-time report for January 2023. Been a really enjoyable month. I've really enjoyed the pens I'm using, but given they were all winners from last year, really, do you expect anything else? The first pen we started with, this was a Jinhao 100. We actually started with the blue one, but it ran out of ink on the first day. It had Diamine ruby blues in there. And rather than fill the same pen, I thought, let's get another Jinhao 100 out. So I got this meteorite pattern, and in there I've got Dominant Industry Lake. I'm not 100% certain I like the match of lake with this colour, but it was worth trying. Really enjoyable. Smooth nib, nice medium nib. One of the things I am toying with, I haven't quite decided, is I want to play around now and start looking at doing like nib grinds. And I'm thinking, this pen, or one of my other Jinhao 100s, maybe one to start with. I may start with a cheaper one, but certainly I want to get round to this. But it's nice. The nib writes really well so far. My second pen, that was the HongDian, and this is the 960. Now, in here, I've got Robert Oster Ryde green. Guess what? It's a green ink. This one, not a lot of ink left in it now. I might get another day in it. Once it runs out, not going to refill it. We're past the halfway mark, so I'll just reduce the number of pens I'm using. Nice pen though, really enjoyable. Again, as I said, all this month's pens have been nice to use. It's going to be really hard in a couple of weeks when I have to try and rank them. Pen number 3, this is the Mahjong A1, the clicky pen. Nice pen, quite like this. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get this into the focus point. I need to do some digging on this. I can't get this to focus. Well, hopefully you might see it if I put my hand like that. But at the bottom there, I don't know why, my mind is telling me there should be a little flap there, but there isn't. It's open, so that means the nib is exposed to the air all the time. Now, I need to check. That might be the design, but I don't know why. Something in my head's telling me there should be a little flap that comes up. So I'm going to have to look into that. This is another one. It's a cartridge converter. Be careful taking it off. It's spring-loaded. There's, again, maybe a couple of days' worth of ink left in this one. Might get only one day out of it. I'm not sure. But again, as I've said with the other one, not going to be refilling it. I know I didn't show you with the Jinhao 100, there's loads of ink left in that still. My fourth pen, my prettiest pen, the Nahvalur 365 from 2001 in Cano Crystals. Such a pretty resin. Let me get this down. Problem with when I'm trying to focus, I really just struggle with this, is the way the camera's set up. Everything's reversed, so if I want to go left, it looks like I'm going right on the screen, so it's a bit awkward. I'm going to be honest with this. I'm getting bored with it. Not that I don't like it. It's a medium nib. It writes really well. But the sheer amount of ink this holds, I know there's only this little tiny ink window. And with being a piston filler, it does take an awful lot of ink. I used it for half of December. Then I brought it in and I'm using it for this month. As I say, I'm getting bored with it. It's got the same ink in it. It's got the same colour. It's just not exciting me when I use it. And that's one thing I like with pens. I like to be excited. What's the point in writing with a pen that's not bringing you joy? I'm not saying the pen's not pretty. It is. It's just I've been using it for 6 weeks with the exact same ink. And by the look of that, the ink's going to last me till at least the end of this month. So that's a shame. I do love the pen though. It writes nicely. Got a medium line. No issues with it. It writes first time, every time. The fifth pen, first pen I've emptied out this month. This is the Leonardo Memento Zero Grande. I love this spaghetti pattern. This is dark Hawaii. It's really nice. Now, it's another piston filling pen, but it doesn't have that ink window, so I've got no idea how much ink is left in it. And what happened with this last week, I was writing away and it started to skip a lot. I would shake it, just literally like this. It would start writing again, write a few more words, skip again. And I wasn't certain, was it an issue with the feed? because in here I had Diamine Pick Me Up. And it's a new ink. I'm not sure how it would react. I thought, maybe as the feed clogged a bit. But I kept going and it kept happening. So I thought, no, this is stupid, Gary. So I went and emptied it out. I thought, let's give it a clean out because obviously there's something wrong. When I triggered the piston to get rid of any excess ink from the barrel, it was empty. But I didn't know because that's the problem with this pen. And to be honest, it's the only thing that lets it down. It's got a medium nib on it, really nice pen, just very difficult to know when you've run out of ink. So I gave that a good clean. I actually pulled the nib and feed out and I ran them through my ultrasonic cleaner. So if there was any issues with the feed, hopefully that's been sorted as well. Not planning on inking this up again. I'm going to put this away when we get to the end of the month. Another pen that's now empty and that I'm going to put away for a while was pen number 6. This was the Pilot 823. That's in the transparent brown. Vacuum filler, very nice pen, gold nib. My first gold nibbed pen of the month. Very nice to use. It had Herbin Terre de Fouet in there, Land of Fire. I thought that worked really well in this pen. Not going to fill it up again because I've got to be honest, I've got something like 44 other pens inked up at the moment. And I know if I fill this up, it's one of the ones that I'll be reaching for over the others, which means they're not getting shown the love they should have. So for the first time in over a year, I'm going to leave this cleaned out and I'm going to put it away. It might only be for 2 or 3 months, but I'm going to give that one a rest. I did fetch in another pen. When the Leonardo ran out, I thought, well, it's still early in the month, let's fetch in another pen. So I brought in the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. This was the winner from November. In here, I've put in the exact same ink that I had back in November, which is Van Dieman Apple Island Green. Now this is a piston filling pen. The piston mechanism, it does actually take up roughly half of the barrel, so you do lose that capacity. And you can see how much I've been using it. In about 10 days, I've used virtually all the ink. There's not a lot of ink left in there. Again, this is one, once it's empty, I won't fill up again. That'll be cleaned out and then put away once we get past the end of the month. The nib on here, it's another gold nib, 14 karat gold. But it's got this, I believe it's rhodium plating, so it looks like that silver colour. Really soft, spongy pen. It was one of the first gold nibbed pens I ever bought, and I still love it. It's a bit on the narrow side. I know I keep taking the cap on and off. A bit short. This is a pen, I have to use it posted. Doesn't bother me. It's fairly light because of the material. Very enjoyable. And with this Van Dieman Apple Island Green, I'd struggled with that ink to find a pen to put it in that made it look good. To be honest, I've struggled a lot finding an ink I like in this pen. But once I got that combo, I absolutely love the combo. And certainly until that Apple Island Green is all gone, that's the only combo that's going into this pen. Really nice. I really enjoy it. And the nib, the writing experience, are so bouncy. It's really nice. It's a real pleasure to use. So that's how I've been going with this month's pens. I thought for the chatty part, I'd really start to talk a bit about where I'm going in my fountain pen journey. And I know you've seen lots of these type of videos so far in January. Seems every pen reviewer's doing them. One of the things I noticed in the last year is I've been going for more of, I'm going to call them the higher end pens. By higher end, I mean over $100. You know, the 823, that's my most expensive pen. And that was just 100. And that was about $400 when I bought it. It's a lovely pen. It's worth every penny. But because of how much I paid for it, if I'm going out to, say, you know, a coffee shop or a meeting, I do sometimes think, well, should I take this pen? Because if I lose it, I'd be really upset. But I have been noticing there's a marked difference between writing with, you know, a pen over $100 versus a pen under $100. I find that over 100, there seems to be more care taken, apart from a couple of exceptions. You know, we all know the issue I've had with the Conklin All-American. And I find that I gravitate more to using pens over $100. And one of the things I've been doing when I've been putting together my collections, unless it's a collection for just Chinese pens, I've been trying to do 3 pens under 100 and 3 pens over for my pens in use. I'm not saying I'm not going to buy pens under 100. There's a lot of good ones that I love using. I mean, I love using the Jinhao 100. When I bought this, it was about $25. Nice, reasonable price. But with the pens under 100, and certainly with a lot of Chinese pens, I've noticed the price, it's just been increasing. You know, to buy one of these, when I looked, I'm going to say about a week ago, it was over $35 to buy one. And to me, not worth $35. If I'm going to spend that, I'd rather save a little bit more and get another pen over 100. I'm still going to get Chinese pens. You know, if a Jinhao 100 comes along and it's in a brand new colour that really jumps out, smacks me in the face and says, Gary, you've got to buy this, I'm going to buy it, even if it is $35 or $40. I'm still going to buy the cheaper pens. I mean, you'll be seeing some first impressions that of pens my wife got me for Inkvent. Some of those were only like $8. And I've got a load of pens in that, you know, I'm going to say $2 to $20 price range. They're in my wish list on AliExpress, and I do intend to buy them. It's just whereas previous years I've been doing an AliExpress order every couple of months, this year I might only do it every 3 or 4 months. It's not that I don't like them, it's just that they no longer excite me. And a lot of that's down to the nibs. The nibs are very stiff. They generally only come in extra fine or fine, although you do now get some occasional mediums. And my preference, I like broader nibs, so I find that the fine, the extra fine, I mean this Mahjong A1, it's an extra fine nib. And yes, it writes nicely, but again, it doesn't really excite me when I'm writing. So that's where I'm looking at going over the next year, you know, looking at some of the $100 plus pens. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd love to get a Visconti Homo sapiens, but given I don't want to leave home with a $400 or $500 pen, there's absolutely no way I'd leave home with one of those where it's nearly 1,000, if not over 1,000 Aussie dollars now. What are your thoughts? What do you see that you're going to be going with this year for your fountain pen purchases? Are you finding that you're going to be going more on the less expensive or even the Chinese route? Or are you, like me, starting to think, well, let's go for some of the more expensive pens? Please drop your comments down below. I'd love to kickstart a conversation on this. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment. Well, it just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.